Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ FM, San Luis Obispo rocks.
Okay. Aha, it's Friday. God. Just wake up, it's Friday. You're just like, damn it. I didn't sleep well last night, but I don't care because it's Friday. It feels good to be Friday. Is that how you feel today? You love Friday?
Yeah. I have to go to the water park today.
I'm not going to feel bad for you.
The hardest part of the week is still...
Because you planned this whole thing.
Is still ahead of me.
But I know what you mean. It's like...
That's hanging out with a bunch of moms.
You hang out, you come up with this idea like, oh my God, my kids would love this.
No, not my idea. This is all
and
life.
Then you're like, and then all of a sudden you're like, you're doing it, you're into it, it's the day of, you're like, why the hell do I do these things to myself?
It's all the wife. Although I was able.
So why doesn't she take him? You could go golfing or something.
Because it's like 2-1. She's outnumbered. And one is very demanding because he's only 9 months old.
So does she just make the plans, or does she consult you and say, "Hey, what do you think about it?
We're going to take the kids to the
this?
water park on Friday." I was like, okay.
See, that
and here's the thing, but the problem is,
I don't think so. I'm going to do something else.
The commercial comes on TV all the time, and my daughter, before we went on vacation, she said, "I want to go there," and I said, "Oh, maybe when we get back from vacation."
Oh.
Well.
They hold that to you.
My daughter doesn't remember 5 minutes ago when I said, "Hey, will you pick up the toys in the living room?"
Yeah, we were all that way.
But for whatever reason, 8 weeks ago, she remembers me saying to her, "We'll go to the water park after we get back from vacation." Now, we've been back from vacation for now a month. And she's like, "Hey," every time the commercial comes on, "Hey, you said you were going to take me there." Or every time we drive by it, "Hey, how come we haven't gone there yet? It's after vacation. You said we'd go there after vacation." So we have to go before they close. And they close Labor Day weekend and busy up until then. So this is our window of opportunity is today, Ravine Water Park. But I was able to, Matt, his daughters are out of school too. So he's looking for something to keep them occupied. So I was like, "Hey, dude, do you want to take your daughters to the water park?" He's like, "Yes." Emphatic yes, because it keeps them occupied. It tires them out. They go to bed by 7, and everybody's happy in the house.
We had a policy in my house. You know what my dad's rule was? Kids are to be seen and not heard. Probably because
heard that policy before.
I used to do this. I think this is exactly why that policy came into place.
You would remind your dad about promises he made weeks later?
Of course. The only one that he liked to do was fishing. So I think that's why we went fishing all the time.
The great news about this is today is National Sons and Daughters Day. So I'm doing my part. The son is going to the water park. Probably doesn't want to, but he's going. And the daughter is going to the water park. And I don't know what you're supposed to do on National Sons and Daughters Day, but the friggin' water park seems like a good place to start.
You know what my dad used to do that I thought was really cool, and I think all parents should do this at least a couple of times, because this is one thing that stuck with me that I'll never forget, and that is once a year he would surprise me, and he would just come to school when I was in grade school, and he would pull me out of school to take me fishing in the spring. And I always thought that was great. And it doesn't have to be fishing. It could be whatever. But he would come in and he would take me out of school.
It was a surprise.
It was a total surprise to hang out with him for the day. And it would be something that I would enjoy, of course. He goes, "Hey, you and me, you know what we're going to do today?" I'm like, "What about Mom? You going to tell Mom?" He goes, "Nope, we're not going to tell Mom. We're just going to go do whatever."
Do something special for your children today. If they are at home, go for a walk or enjoy a local park. My park is going to cost a little bit more than the local park will. If your children are grown, give them a call and remind them how special they are to you. What are the odds that we get a call from our parents today on Sons and Daughters Day, like we give our parents calls on Mother's and Father's Day?
Did your mom ever do anything nice for you?
Yeah, all the time.
Does she ever surprise you?
Yeah, I mean, I do remember one time where I do remember she said, "Oh, well, you're not going to school tomorrow. We're going to go for a drive," and we went out to the Olympic Peninsula and kicked around in the mountains and out on the lakes and out on the ocean. Yeah, I mean, we spent like a whole day out on the Olympic Peninsula. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Thanks for taking me out of school, Mom. That was a fun day, a bonding day.
Something you
with
never
Mom.
forget.
It was not on August 11th.
Today's a Friday. Maybe somebody today, you know what? Maybe we just motivated somebody to go take their kid out of school today.
Well, hopefully.
If their kid's even in school today.
Hopefully, but I want to know.
Some are and some aren't.
I want to know, are you going to be getting that call from your mother? Don't solicit it. Don't throw it out there. Don't put it on social media.
No, because
I would like a full report from both sides.
My parents don't pay attention to this calendar that you pay attention to called National Whatever
because
Day.
they don't make a big enough deal about it. Like, where the hell is Hallmark today?
Do you get an email with these or something? How do you see these? Is this Google? Are you still on AOL or something?
Every day about this time, I go to National Day Calendar just to find out what today is all about.
And today is National Sons and Daughters
It just
Day.
so happens that today is National Sons and Daughters
Well,
Day.
then maybe that means we should be calling them.
No! They're not our sons or daughters.
No, we're the sons and daughters. Maybe we should be calling them.
No, it says, do something special for your children today.
Oh, okay.
If they're at home, go for a walk or enjoy a local park. If your children are grown, give them a call and remind them how special they are to you. Use hashtag Sons and Daughters Day
What are you going to do?
On social media.
Don't say the water park. It was your wife's idea.
I'm taking them to the water park, okay?
No, that was your wife's idea. You already said that.
I am support
staff. You have
staff.
to do something on top of that.
I am support staff.
Ice cream cone afterwards.
I signed off on that, okay? I actually moved it from Thursday to Friday. That's what I did, because it was supposed to be yesterday, and I said, how about we do it on Friday instead?
Lame. Sounds
Okay?
like you're taking credit for your wife's idea.
So I moved it to Sons and Daughters Day. Therefore, I've done my part. But I want to know if we will be on the receiving end from our mothers and fathers, who we call in May and June.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I know for a fact my mom or my dad is not going to call me today and say, hey, son, I'm pretty happy for you. Good job. I just want to tell you how special you are to me. Because Hallmark didn't tell them to do it like they tell us to do it for them. All we get is nationaldaycalendar.com. Great. Like my parents know how to use the internet.
How pathetic can some people be?
I have ridden a bus in this country. That is not a good way to travel. I've ridden Greyhound. Last trip I took, there were like 45 people on the bus. I was the last one on. I took one look at these people. I felt like calling Unsolved Mysteries and going, yeah, I found everybody. Oh, there's extra ones here if you hurry. Call those guys from that show Cops. Greyhound is America's weirdo wagon. The kid sitting next to me was like 17. Nice enough kid. This is all I'd say the whole trip, though. You know what, lady? Life sucks. I think, well, probably because there's an earring in your eyelid. Probably hard to blink in the morning, isn't it?
Dumbass of the day. 93.3 KZOZ.
Yeah. Passengers on a Greyhound bus trip from Denver to Amarillo will never forget their ride. It was one of the crappiest ones they've ever taken. About 15 minutes into the trip, so just right outside of Denver. I don't even know what's outside of Denver towards Amarillo. Is that towards Colorado Springs? I'm not familiar with my central Colorado.
I believe Colorado
geography.
Springs is south of Denver, but yeah.
But I think you got to go through there to get to Amarillo. Right before they got to Colorado Springs, passengers in the back began to detect a strong odor coming from the restroom. Human waste was overflowing out of the bathroom, and when you stop a car or a bus for that matter, and there's liquid on the ground, it rolls up, and then when you take off, it rolls back. This happened for 6 hours.
They couldn't get off the bus? The bus driver wouldn't pull over?
Yeah. One of the passengers said they walked back to use the bathroom and noticed brown footprints everywhere.
Oh, come on.
Others said that they had fecal matter on their shoes and belongings. Passengers said they told the driver about the problem, and he said, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, you can pull this damn bus over. It's a sewage. Oh, it's disgusting.
Bus continued for another 6 hours. Greyhound has not yet commented on this. The passengers are not happy.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
So what happened there? They probably never emptied the toilet tank from the previous trip?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. They need a better crew there. I can't believe this bus driver should lose his job. Like, multiple passengers told him that this was going on. He's like, nothing I can do about it. Like, yeah, you could pull over. You could get another bus out here. We're only a couple hours or an hour from where we're at.
I'm like the George Strait of bus drivers. I got to get to Amarillo by morning.
And that's why you don't take the bus.
Not to Amarillo, at least.
I've never taken the bus anywhere. I've had friends tell me about taking the bus.
I'm doing a train trip to Anaheim. Not next week, but week after.
Do you have to take the bus at all for this?
Okay, so the first segment I have to take the bus from San Luis because I want to come in and do the show. I have to go midweek, so I want to come in and do the show Tuesday morning.
Okay.
And in order for me to take the train to Anaheim, I have to take the bus for the first segment of it from San Luis Obispo to Santa Barbara. I have no idea where it stops. I'm guessing probably some Lompoc action going on there because it's like a 2-hour bus ride. And I'm like, wait, I've done that trip before. It's like an hour and 15 minutes. Why is it taking 2 hours and 20 minutes to go to Santa Barbara, leaving San Luis Obispo on the bus? So I miss the best part of the train ride because the best part of the train ride is from San Luis to Santa Barbara. Everything from Santa Barbara south sucks. But
because you're inland.
I got to do what I got to do in order to take the trip. This will be my first bus trip.
But you're just going 2 hours in a bus. It can't be that bad. I mean, I remember I've traveled 2 hours.
These folks were only going
before.
for 6 hours.
It's awful.
You've done 2 hours in a bus before?
Yeah, when we went on that trip over to France, we were in really nice like Mercedes buses, and they had 2 bathrooms. They had one, there's that middle door in the middle of the bus. Mm-hmm. There's a bathroom there, and there was a bathroom up front. And they were underneath, like where you sit. So you kind of go down the stairs and you go underneath where everybody sits. And yeah, it was really nice. It was a little bit roomier than an airplane.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little bit bigger than an airplane, which I was a little bit surprised. Deep. The most disgusting bathroom I've ever been on is on trains.
Really?
But I've only been on trains in France too. So
the Amtrak one is surprisingly big.
I've never been on this train here. I hope to do it one day. It's the Surfliner.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive actually. I was like, "Where's the bathroom at?" The guy pointed it out, and it's got this like big globe door, and you're in there, and it's like bigger than my bathroom at home. The train bathroom is.
But back to this jackass that's driving the bus. I might become that guy. They end up calling the cops over because I don't think I can handle the smell and the fact that there's crap footprints up and down the pathway back and forth to your seat.
Well, this is just 15
and this
minutes
guy's
into the trip.
He's not going to pull over?
Yeah.
He's not going to do something about it? I mean, get another bus there.
Like, what would you expect if you're one of the passengers on this? Like, refund is not, okay, that's not enough.
Okay, that's without saying.
Yeah. The refund is what you get, okay?
Yeah.
That's standard. What do you want on top of that?
Well,
let's say that you're one of the passengers that had their fecal matter on their belongings, huh? Obviously, you want to replace your belongings, but then you had to ride with that fecal matter for 5 hours and 45 minutes.
I'm suing the bus. That's the only thing you can do because they're never going to give you what you want. They're going to give you credit to ride the bus somewhere else. It's like, no, I don't want to ride Greyhound or whatever.
Yeah, it was Greyhound. Why would I get on your crap bus again?
No, I'm getting on this poop bus. Yeah, exactly. So, but then, do you really want to sue him?
I'm surprised there was not a revolt. I mean, it's revolting, but there was not a revolt from the passengers that, like they overtook the bus driver and stopped the bus and made him get out on the side of the road and call for another, like this is Greyhound. There had to be some people with some knives and some guns on the Greyhound bus. They could have taken over the driver.
There's no TSA when you get on the Greyhound?
Beats me. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. I'll find out here in a couple of weeks. They say they have Wi-Fi on the bus.
Oh, well, that's nice. But it doesn't help if it smells like crap the whole time.
Greyhound, that was a bad PR move. Horrible. People sat inside a toilet on wheels for 6 hours.
God, can you imagine?
No,
locked in a porta potty.
Worse than sitting in a, because when you're sitting in a toilet, you don't have the stuff floating around at your feet.
Yeah, it's being locked in a porta potty for 6 hours while moving at 65 miles an hour.
Sloshing back and sloshing back and forth. Oh.
Every time you go downhill, because you have to go up a grade and then down a grade, you're like, oh, no, here it comes. Oh, that's when you want to sit in the front of the bus. I think Denver to
Amarillo, though, is pretty flat. So that's the benefit. At least they weren't going, like, to Salt Lake City. That would have been a big problem. Congratulations, Greyhound. We're not leaving the driving to you. No way. We don't want to be in a pooper for 6 hours. You're Jeff and Jeremy's
Dumbass of the Day. It's Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ.
What is the worst way to travel?
The worst way to travel? Probably in a bus. I mean, like, are we talking about, like, group travel? I've traveled like I said, I've traveled on the trains in France, and that was probably the worst travel I had because the people don't wear deodorant over there, and they didn't have the air on. It was
it seems
humid.
like doesn't everybody
and dirty?
Everybody do that? Like that's like here you either drive your car or you get in an airplane, right? That's like the most common form of travel. But over in Europe, don't a lot of people
trains
take the train? That's like the East Coast,
right.
A lot of people get on the subway.
And how it works is, you pull into a train station, like let's say you do one of these high-speed trains, and I had to do about a 3-hour train ride. And so you pull into a train station. You're on your own, man. I mean, once you have your tickets, you buy them, you get them downstairs, you go up, and it says, wait for your platform to come up. Well, then you're kind of looking, and that's kind of like a terminal. So then you see your platform, and so, all right, I'm on platform 8. And so we get there, and as soon as it pops up, they didn't say this, you have 10 minutes to get on the train, it's leaving. And they were talking, I don't know, they had 30 cars on this high-speed train. So, I don't know, each car probably seats 50 people. And so, hundreds of people. And, of course, our car is all the way at the front of the train, which the train comes in, and then they get on the other side and they drive it out. So we have to go 30 car lengths all the way. We get there within 10 minutes. There's all these people. We're carrying all this stuff. Nobody helps you. There's no conductor there. Nobody takes your luggage. You just, just bull your way through everybody to get on the train, and you have an assigned seat, but you got to find a place to put your luggage. It was a nightmare the first time.
I would love that.
We were also late, and we almost missed the train. Like, I'm literally standing there outside the doorway. My wife is inside the doorway, and then there's another doorway where you go to sit down, and she's looking at me as and the lights are blinking, and the door's getting ready to close, and people are still not on the train. There's still a line of people trying to get on the train, and I'm thinking, well, they're not just going to close the door. I mean, there's 3 of us out here, and I'm in the back. Well, guess what? The door started closing. We grabbed the door, we pulled it open, and then I've got 4 suitcases. Ugh.
See, I would love that. But not if I'm traveling, because I would like to be with my wife and go to the next destination.
Yeah, I didn't get to ride with her. I rode in between the cars. That's where I had to ride. I'm not kidding. I mean, it's enclosed, but it's not insulated, and it sucked. I sat on top of a suitcase.
But if I had to commute that way, that's the perfect excuse for taking days off of work, right? Like like when I used to have to park at community college, and there would never be a parking spot. Like if you didn't get there for the 8 o'clock classes, like the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock classes, there would never be a parking spot. You have to go park at there was a drive-in across the street.
It was a satellite parking lot.
It literally was like 2 miles away. So you had a 2-mile walk from the drive-in over to and nobody would do it. I mean, people would be like, I don't want to park all the way over at the drive-in. I'm like, it's community college. You can afford to miss a day, right? So you would just miss a day. And then the teacher would be like, well, where were you the last 3 days? Couldn't find a parking spot. Perfect excuse. They're like, okay, I guess this place needs to build a parking garage. You're not. I
did that more than once. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
Because, or I would say, I'll just park here. And then, even though it was a non-park, and then I get a ticket. Yeah. And then now it cost me $50 to go to class.
But if you can't get on the train, and you only got 10 minutes, and you're like, well, the train was really crowded today, boss. I couldn't make it into work. Sorry. Don't know what to tell you.
We don't have subways here, but I imagine like that kind of transportation, riding the bus. Remember when we went to San Francisco, we decided to go to see Pearl Jam at Outside Lands. Yes. And we had no idea what we were doing, but we knew we had a plan. We were going to go up there to the BART parking lot. We were going to park at the station and ride the bus in.
Yeah, that was the plan. We got to get off at Daly City and take the bus from Daly City to
why do all the stinky people ride the bus? Why is it the people that ride the bus can't put on deodorant? I mean, it was just do you remember that?
That was the worst experience.
Bad. And we had so many stuff. We had no idea what we're doing. We're like, we could never do this again.
You couldn't park anywhere near Golden Gate Park, so that's what you had to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what we did the right thing. It was just like, geez, it took us forever to get there, too. We were on that bus for, it felt like an hour.
It seemed like it took us as long to get from Daly City to Golden Gate Park as it did from San Luis Obispo to Daly City by car.
I'm thinking we got a poll question here. What's the worst way to publicly travel? Or what's the worst public transit?
Worst method of travel?
Yeah. You can put airplanes on there, too, because I'm sure people have stories. Jeff has to ride a bus.
And train.
And if, I could imagine bus is pretty bad. Airplane. What else did we come up with?
Uber or taxi
Yeah. Okay.
for the poll question. Those are the 5 choices. So, and a family car road trip. Which is the worst method of travel?
We got John on the phone. He says he has to ride a bus for a couple hours a day. Where do you work?
I work at Fort Hunter Liggett up in the Army base.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see. Okay. So who are you riding the bus with?
It's mostly Army people and civilians that work up there.
Okay.
But, so I've been doing it for the last 4 years. I got probably 2 or 3 more years to do it. And then I'm probably going to get a civilian job. I'm in the Army now, but I'll be doing it for who knows how many years before I
just feel like the Army bus is a much better experience than public transportation because I feel like Army people are neat and clean.
It's mostly, we have a few sometimes weird people get on the bus, some homeless people, stuff like that, or people going up to Monterey. But generally speaking, it's only a few of us on the bus, so it's pretty pleasant.
You're taking the Monterey County Transit then?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it's not an Army bus. So we get on the MST Transit every day to go back and forth from Paso up to Fort Hunter Liggett.
Wow.
It's the #1 transportation for the homeless to go to Monterey.
Yeah.
It really is.
But and generally speaking, it's mostly just a few of us going up to the base, so it's pretty good. And it has Wi-Fi on it, but I'm just saying, I was hearing you guys... Go ahead.
That's not that bad. See?
No, actually, it's free transportation to and from. Since Fort Hunter Liggett's so remote, they give us this opportunity.
If given the choice, would you rather hop in the bus or drive your own car up there?
100 miles a day for the last 4 years would have been a big bill out of my pocket. I tell you that right now on gas and wear and tear. So, generally speaking, it's a pretty pleasant experience. It just... Sometimes I get a little tired of being on a bus for 2 hours a day of my life, every day of the week.
I hear you. It's like,
but if you have Wi-Fi on the bus and you can do other things, I mean, what I'm the most looking forward to about my bus/train trip next week, or I guess not next week, but week after, is the fact that there's Wi-Fi in both segments of it. So I'll be able to actually get a lot of work done while... If I was to drive my car down there, I'd be stuck driving in Los Angeles traffic, which would be terrible.
Right.
I'm way on board for train/bus, even though it's going to take me probably an hour and a half, 2 hours longer of a trip.
What I like about your situation, John, is you got to think of the positive side. Because, I mean, I get the negative side of it, but the positive side is I used to have to get to work really early in the morning, and I moved in with my parents in Seattle, and there's a lot of water up there, so I had to take a ferry, and it was an hour. It was a 55-minute ride from the peninsula over, and I'd sleep on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you sleep on the bus sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I sleep while I'm listening to your show. I'm on the bus right now. I'm listening to your show.
We'll put you to sleep.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We'll put you to sleep.
So I'm on right now, so I figured I'd give you guys a call. I appreciate you guys answering.
John, listen, I'm really getting really good at lullabies lately because I have to put a 9-month-old. So if you ever have any requests, I'm good at Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Rockabye Baby. And Hush Baby, Don't You Cry. Those are my 3 greatest hits.
Well, a lot of people, I go to a lot of YouTube videos. I listen to a lot of news stations, stuff like that. Like Fox News, stuff like that. I'll watch it on the phone.
So you got all kinds of freedom there. All right, well, thanks, man. Enjoy the rest of your ride. I think a lot of people are feeling the Greyhound bus experience.
They're feeling that, but only because is that because it's juxtaposed with Dumbass of the Day? Because I got to think, after talking to John especially, that the bus is probably the most underrated mode of transportation. It's funny, the most overrated mode of transportation is the one I think we all take, and it's the one that we probably should shy away from, and that is our own car. The family trip in the car, or just taking your own car.
I love driving.
But I love driving too because
I hate being a passenger.
You control everything, okay? If you're driving, you control your trip. You're not stopping somewhere for 5 minutes, picking up a bunch of strangers, and then moving on to the next one, and then stopping for 5 minutes, picking up a bunch of strangers, letting strangers off, and doing all that. I understand that it's nice to not have to deal with a bunch of strangers. Trust me, I'm not a stranger person. But I also can keep to myself very well, and I think I need to be more open to bus transportation, especially now since John called in. He said they're offering up Wi-Fi on the buses now.
Hey, are you taking a business class on the train? Are you business class?
When I get on the train, no, I'm just...
Because Jerry says the train is the worst when you're not in business class.
I think I'm okay. But see, the problem is You can
We'll find out.
You can get a good spot anywhere north of Santa Barbara, but then that bus fills up in Santa Barbara, and then you're like sitting really close to people. And I think I might need to upgrade to business class. And I've gone back and forth with this because, but it's a Tuesday afternoon when I'm traveling. It's not a lot of. That's going to be like business people traveling, right?
Let's see. Jessica writes in and says van pool, which has got to be worse than train and bus because you don't have at least in those situations, you have a little bit nicer seat to sit in. And a lot of times in a van pool, you're just sitting on a bench, right? You got somebody's hot, sweaty thighs touching yours. Can't stand it when people's thighs touch my thighs. Oh, that drives me nuts. Anyways, Rassi, what's the worst form of transportation?
Mike writes in, he says the Craigslist Rideshare is the worst method of travel. So I had to look up Rideshare on Craigslist, and there are a few people. One guy is moving to Portland from Atascadero sometime between now and November. He's looking to share a U-Haul with somebody. He would like to meet with those people and see if they're a compatible fit for a 14-hour road trip as he moves his stuff up to the Pacific Northwest. Another person is going to the Eclipse Festival in Madras, Oregon. And they are looking to Rideshare. It says, hey, if you're interested in carpooling up to Oregon for the festival, let's see if we're a good fit. It's a 12-hour drive from SLO, and I am a great road buddy.
Nope. I'm moving past this guy. This guy's way too confident in his passengerism. If that's a made-up word.
I'm down to be silly, share stories, and talk about how awesome life is.
No,
and this is not a guy.
I don't want you.
This is not a guy. This is a girl. This is Nikki. What
does Nikki look like? Send a photo, please.
Can you ask for that on the? I guess when you meet the person, then you figure it out. I worked at a rental car place in college, and I was dating. I was in a really serious relationship with my girlfriend, who was my fiance.
Oh, this is the only other really serious relationship you've had, right?
And yeah, for the most part.
Outside of your wife, I mean, you never got engaged to anyone else.
That lasted more than a year is a serious relationship by my standards. Yes. So yes, there was only 2 relationships that I've ever had that have been serious, and I was going back to see her for the weekend, and I was working the rental car counter at the airport in Pullman, Washington. This guy calls up. He goes, "Hey, I need to rent a car to go to Seattle." And I need to leave tonight, and I need to drop the car off there. It's a one-way rental. Well, one-way rentals are really expensive, especially when you're going from a remote area to like a populous area. Like his one-way rental was going to be like $365 to rent a car for 5 hours. And I pulled it up on the computer. I'm like, dude, it's going to end up costing you $365. He's like, what? That's crazy. I said, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm heading to Seattle tonight, but I'm not leaving until 9 o'clock, which means we're going to get there at about 1 o'clock in the morning. Would you be down to just ride with me? And
why did you do this?
Because I'm thinking I just threw out a number of 365. I'm in college. I could use the money. If he gives me a fraction of that, it's going to benefit me. I'm going there anyway.
You're just assuming that he'll kick you something.
Yeah. So he's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I would love to do that. Thank you so much.
This is back in the day when you would put Febreze in your hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when you're like, what was the reason? You didn't like using shampoo because it took the oils out. So you just would use Febreze.
At about day 3 after.
You were the most low maintenance person I know, by the way, at that time in your life. And I don't, that's a compliment, but.
And so I offer.
Very easygoing.
I offer up the ride share to the guy, and he's like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. So I meet him at like the grocery store in town. And then we head on out, and not even 5 minutes out of town, he starts doing one-liners. And I hate one-liners, and I hate setup jokes. The entire.
How old is this guy? Give me something. I mean, you're in your 20s.
Yeah, I was in my mid-20s. He was. I would say he's probably about what my age is now, so he's in his early 40s.
Okay, all right.
And he starts telling jokes. He told jokes the entire 4-hour and 15-minute trip. The entire time.
You didn't just keep turning up the radio?
To where
Did you try any of these things?
I was like, because you don't know. I mean, what if you say, dude, stop telling jokes or you're going to get out of my car. And then it escalates. You all of a sudden you got a North Korea, United States situation.
He pulls a knife on you.
Yeah. And you're in the middle of nowhere because there literally is nothing.
This is a 4.5 hour
there's
ride.
Nothing between Seattle, Washington and Pullman, Washington. There's nothing, okay?
Was there any jokes that stuck?
No, because I after about 10 minutes, I just tried to block it out. And he just kept telling jokes. And
You never
jokes
thought about trying to change the
jokes.
subject?
More jokes. We did talk about the XFL. Okay, because the XFL was going to be launching later on that summer. He was a football fan.
That was Jim McMahon's thing, right?
Yeah. And how he thought it was awesome because there was no pass interference in the XFL.
So you're talking about the XFL, and you're like, oh, God, thank God he's not telling you stupid jokes
We
anymore.
talked about that for 5 minutes, then he went back to jokes.
Oh, no. How many times did you stop the car just to get out to get away from them?
Because I wanted it to be over as quickly as possible. I drove like 85, 90 miles an hour the whole way.
I would have just kept
Because
turning
I
up
was
the
like,
radio.
dude, we got to get this trip over
I would have
with, man.
said, I've done this before. I've been in cars with people that I don't know, and they thought, and it's like, oh my God, I love this song. Let's turn it up a little bit. And then they'll start singing along with the song. And you're like, I can't believe this is actually happening. But I've never gone in a car with somebody that I didn't know. Because somebody like, you'll be with a group of friends, like, hey, Bill, why don't you jump in with Jeremy? And then we're going to drive 40 minutes somewhere, right? So, for example, when you're with a group of people, like that's the only situation I've been where someone else gets in my car that I don't know that well and won't stop talking.
This guy, I was amazed after the ride was over. By the way, he didn't offer me any money when I dropped him off.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't give me anything.
Not a penny.
Not a penny.
Not even to chip in for gas.
He said, thanks, man. I said, yeah, sure, no problem. Let him off at the gas station.
You didn't say, hey, wait a second. Not even a dollar for gas?
No. So that's why I'm not nice
That's
to
why
people
you're a better
anymore.
person. That's why you're
I just
so
couldn't believe
grumpy.
he had 4 hours worth of material. Chappelle doesn't even have 4 hours worth of material.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
In our poll question, we were asking people if which way you were going to go, Mega Millions or Powerball. I think Powerball got 100% of the vote, which is kind of
Weird
rare.
because Mega is worth more tonight.
Right. So
And
tonight is
tonight. It's
Mega.
almost-
Tomorrow is Powerball.
It's almost 400 million.
Is that right? I think that's right. Right. Tonight and tomorrow. So
tonight Mega is almost 400 million. It's like 393 or something. Yeah, definitely 393 million.
are you a lump sum guy, or are you going to take it over 30 years?
Is it 30 years now? It's not 20 years?
I think it's 30 years. Yeah.
No. Can I tell you what the worst prize is?
What do you mean? No, that means you're going to take the lump sum.
Lump sum, because you manage your money better than other people can.
You would think so, but you lose a lot of money when you do that.
You don't, though.
Well, you do. I've got it right here in front of me. That's why I asked you.
You get it paid off in an annuity, but the thing is, if you take the lump sum and you invest that lump sum correctly right away, then you stand to make more money. One of our interns, Brett the intern, who is my favorite intern, sorry for all the other interns if you happen to be listening.
He worked the hardest.
You did a good job. You did a good job too, but Brett was far and away probably the hardest worker, and he French kissed Jeremy's dog. I mean,
wearing a diaper.
If you're going to French kiss Jeremy's dog, that shows dedication to.
Or was he? What was he wearing? He was a Cupid. He was dressed up like a Cupid.
Yeah, for Valentine's Day.
It was like he had like
I mean, he French kissed Jeremy's dog. Okay, that's like the
my dog had a clean mouth.
The highest
He couldn't
of regard.
English bulldogs, they're not flexible, so they can't lick areas that other dogs can lick. I'll just say that.
His dad
he had that going for
is
him.
a money manager up in Monterey. That's what his job is. And he was telling me a story of a guy that had made millions of dollars over the course of his life. And he gave his dad $7 million. And he said, this is what I want you to do with this $7 million, okay? I want you to be able to make it so it pays me anywhere between $100,000 and $150,000 a year in which I can live on, and then the rest of it I'm just going to keep away. And his dad was very able to do that through managing the money. So the theory is you could take the big lump sum and even do a bigger investment and have it pay off more every year. So you're basically buying your own annuity at a better rate than what the people at the lottery are going to give you the annuity for. They're not in it to give you the best possible money.
Well, this is why you should think about that.
If you buy it up front, you're basically buying out your annuity.
I'll just see here. No, that's not right either. I don't know how they reached this number, but they say that if you take the lump sum, you only get 40%.
Right.
Or no, I'm sorry. You get 60%. They take 40%?
Yes.
Okay. So it says that if you hit the lump sum, the government is going to take 39.5% of that.
Yeah, because it's a luxury tax.
And
it's a
then
big
25% of that, which comes right off the top. These are all government taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So then, so now they've already taken over 60% of what you've got, and then your state tax will kick in.
Mm-hmm.
This is if you take the lump sum, and that'll take another 10% off. So if you won $238 million, you would walk away with $119 million.
Fine.
But that's $119 million. Now,
And like I said, you could take that $119 million and invest it and be in control. We're talking earlier about this is what it boils down to. The annuity for 30 years, getting the check every year is like jumping on the Greyhound.
you could die in 5 years.
Yeah, that's like jumping on the Greyhound and saying, take me to Nova Scotia. Okay? That's a long trip. That's a long trip. Whereas you could jump in an airplane and fly to Nova Scotia. That would be taking the lump sum right away and get to Nova Scotia in an easier amount of time and have your time to do whatever you do in Nova Scotia.
So almost it's 50% is what it is by the time the state takes their 10% and the 40% that pretty much the federal government takes off the top. So if you take the lump sum, they're going to take half of it, whatever that is. If you win both Powerball and Mega, $735 million. Your odds are 1 in 75 quadrillion, but I've still bought tickets to both.
I had a friend tell me a story about, we were talking about that kid.
Because when you play the lotto, you really don't think you're going to win. You just do it.
We were talking about that kid did you hear this story? I don't know, you were so all about the fair. But during the fair and during our vacations, there was a kid that went into the store. His dad said, hey, go buy, 17-year-old kid. Keep in mind, he's 17. Dad says, go buy me one of those $20 scratcher tickets. Buys him a $20 scratcher ticket, wins $5 million.
Illegally.
On the $20 scratcher ticket. California State Lottery looks at the surveillance photo, says, how old was that kid that was buying the ticket? And they're like, well, it was my son. He was 17. Null and void. You don't get $5 million. It doesn't matter because that was bought illegally because you have to be 18 to buy a lottery ticket in the state of California. Wah, wah, wah. He's suing California State Lottery.
He's going to lose.
He doesn't have a legal ground to stand on.
He doesn't have anything. I don't know how they think. It was my money that I gave him. Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't matter.
He's also incorporating into the fray the convenience store that sold him the ticket, saying it was their responsibility to card my son. Because if my son wasn't able to buy the ticket, I would have ran inside.
How did this happen?
And bought the ticket.
How did the surveillance come into the whole thing? Do they always check surveillance?
They check surveillance now. Yeah, they check surveillance
every time.
Now. Because what happens is there have been instances in the past where lottery tickets have been stolen. Like, say you keep them in your ashtray of your car or something along those lines, and your car gets broken into, and somebody wins the lottery, even though they didn't buy the ticket, they'll go and they'll check the surveillance of the place where you bought the lottery ticket because every place is surveilled now, so it's just that easy. And that's what happened in this instance.
God, that sucks. That's a bad day.
But then that same guy was telling me about a story that a girl that she won like $67 million in the lottery. She was like from Salinas. She was 18 years old. She won like $67 million in the lottery. Then went out and bought another lottery ticket a couple weeks later.
A week later. I did see that. I read about that.
She won like $5 million in that. I was like, that girl's going to be dead by the time she's 25.
You can't win if you don't play, right?
But if you got, I got to think of the money here. $72 million?
Yeah, her chance of dying early, I swear to God.
How long would you have been for the world?
Right.
93.3 KZOZ rocks Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
What Taco Bell is doing, they've got a new burrito coming out.
Is it a burger burrito?
It's not, no. Burgers have nothing to do with this. I just had burger on the brain.
Freudian slip? Yeah,
they're putting cayenne-flavored crystals inside a new burrito. Essentially,
crystals?
They're Pop Rocks. putting Pop Rocks inside their burrito that will have a spicy flavor to them, but they will pop in your mouth. Like, how ridiculous can you get on marketing and trying to create something different? Why can't fast food just stick to what they know?
Come on, you want to try it.
I have no way.
Why not?
There's no way.
Are you afraid of Pop Rocks?
Oh, I've never been a big fan of Pop Rocks anyways. I mean, when I was a kid, I thought, oh, this is cool. And then you're like, God, this is actually not very comfortable when these things explode in your mouth.
So you are afraid of Pop Rocks.
And then they're like, oh, why don't you put a Coke? Why don't you drink a Coke with those Pop Rocks? Yeah, and then you almost die. It's like, they have soda. Like, what, you can't drink soda with these? I don't know. They don't say that, but this is something they're testing out here in California. I don't know if anybody that's a big Taco Bell fan has run across these yet, because we are a testing market for a lot of restaurants. My favorite fast food is Taco Bell, but, dude, just stick to what you know.
No.
Tacos,
I
just
like
regular
this.
old burritos and that fake nacho
I like this.
cheese.
I think this is the future of fast food, because it's just gotta get more ridiculous and more ridiculous. It's an arms race, if you will, when it comes to.
What's the most ridiculous thing you've seen?
Oh my God!
Outside of Pop Rocks,
Carl's Jr. put a hot dog on a hamburger. Okay, I mean, like that's. That
is pretty ridiculous.
They also
that was last year.
They put ribs on hamburgers. They put what else? What
yeah,
other?
but people do that.
Brisket on hamburgers. They put pastrami on hamburgers.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've never been a fan of that. I like the hamburger for the taste of the meat. Now I'm tasting all these other things.
But I'm just saying that there is a market for it.
There's things that go well with meat, like sautéed mushrooms.
This
or
probably
bacon.
is the most ridiculous thing, because they are developing a brand new food for a brand new ingredient. They are engineering a brand new ingredient specifically for one of their menu items in the Pop Rocks that are the cayenne flavor. That is pretty impressive. Now it's probably not going to be.
You
all,
call it impressive. I call it ridiculous.
I'm bummed because I can't make it to Orange County by the 16th.
Why?
Because that's when they're going to stop test marketing.
That soon?
The fire,
they just started, didn't they?
The firecracker burrito.
You know, I'm looking at the ingredients here. This is a good. I mean, this thing sounds great. It's cheesy and spicy. It's filled with rice and nacho cheese, sour cream beef, the red tortilla strips, which to me is plenty of crunch. I don't need exploding Pop Rocks in there.
But if you do get the exploding Pop Rocks, it's going to cost you an additional 20 cents. Like I said, I'm bummed that I can't make it to Orange County in the next 5 days, because that's when these things are going to stop being test marketed.
So you add the Pop Rocks yourself.
Yes, they give you a little baggie. It's like, hey man, you want a 20 sec? Because it really is a 20 sec. They whip that thing out, and they're like, because it's 20 cents, and they're like, here's your popping crystals, man.
It looks like somebody for the website foodbeast.com said they added too many at one time. It makes it really sweet, and it's very unpleasant. So they said use the Pop Rocks in moderation.
Oh, okay.
We're asking you what's the strangest, weird thing you've seen on the menu. Hi, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, I remember KFC a while back had that double down sandwich where it was the buns were chicken patties.
Yes.
They don't do that anymore?
I don't know. I haven't been to a KFC in probably 2 or 3 years.
I wanted to try it, though.
A heart attack.
But I did want to at least try and see. Wasn't it fried chicken skin, or was it chicken patties?
No. It was a chicken breast as the buns.
So what was the middle?
Breast.
What was in the middle?
Bacon and cheese and something else.
Yeah. You say it's a heart attack. I say you're eliminating the middleman. Okay, like why do you need the bun? Okay, but why don't you just go with some chicken and some bacon?
Go all paleo, man.
It's a chicken bacon.
Never mind. It's deep fried.
Cheese diet.
Fair enough.
I don't think it's that bad. In fact, I would welcome that, and I've tried it at home. To be honest with you,
you've made your own
heart
attack sandwich.
It's not a heart attack. Will you stop calling it a heart attack?
Thanks for the call.
It's bad. It's bad.
That would lead to a heart attack if you ate that every day.
Misleading promotion when you call it the heart attack. Okay, the double up from KFC, I will make my own home version of, in which I will take 2 frozen chicken patties, like those sandwich chicken patties, and I'll make a sandwich out of it. I'll make the chicken patties. I'll put bacon in between, and I'll melt some cheese in between. It's really tasty. You know what I even do with mine? A layer of barbecue sauce in there.
Have you had the ramen burger downtown at Farmers Market?
I've had a ramen burger before. I've not had the foremost.
And
ramen burger.
it's got the fried egg on it, or the over easy egg, however you want to call it. But
I had mine at Red Robin.
I've
of all
always
places.
wanted to try that.
It's not bad.
But it just looks like a mess. Like, how do you?
It is a mess.
How do you do it?
You do it with a fork and a knife.
Yeah,
you
see,
have to.
I can't.
You have to.
It's got to be a finger food for me. It's got to be something you can hold in your hand.
If it's a
I
burger.
think that's why I've avoided the whole thing.
I go with my chicken patty sandwich. I mean, it's a little greasy on the little greasy side, but you pat that down with a little.
Do you remember when Burger King? They might still have them. I don't think so, but they did. I told you the Cheetos, the puffed Cheetos. The air puffed Cheetos. Well, they tried to do that. I was like a little bite thing that they did with mac and cheese, and that was not.
It wasn't good. You tried it?
It was not good. But I have been to bars where they make deep fried mac and cheese, and they come in little triangles, and they're thick, and they're almost like those things you were eating the other day. Those bite sized little pockets.
Oh, I'm about to make me some right now.
You getting
Hot
hungry?
Hot Pockets have this awesome thing. It's called.
And those were pretty good.
They're called Hot Pockets Bites, and they're like. They're like taking a breakfast Hot Pocket, but then splitting them up into pizza rolls.
Looks like a little empanada.
Yeah, they're
Like if you go
awesome.
to a Mexican restaurant.
And you put 6 of them on a plate, you throw it in the microwave, and it takes half the time of making a regular Hot Pocket, and it's got double the taste.
I realize this new burrito is very similar to like a burrito supreme that Taco Bell is putting out, but they're adding a spicy chipotle sauce to it, and then if you really want to get fancy with it, you can do these.
You want to get kinky?
These pepper Pop Rocks that you add yourself, and it's literally
kinky?
Pop Rocks candy. Sounds gross. That guy that called in a few minutes ago about when KFC did the chicken skin patty, whatever it was,
the double up
sandwich.
Mm-hmm. I'll do that at home. I'll make, but I'll do it with like pre-pressed, preformed chicken patties, and then a little cheese and some bacon and some barbecue sauce.
Greg's got another fast food hack that he does at home. What is it, man?
I've never had it, but at Taco Bell they have double-decker tacos, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to try and make it home. And now it's in our regular rotation for dinner. So good when you make them homemade.
So now you on the double-decker taco at Taco Bell, it's been a while. So what they do is you make a taco shell, a regular taco, like a crispy taco, and then you melt cheese onto a tortilla, and you wrap the flour tortilla around the crunchy taco, right?
Yeah, but we do a little more than that. Like, we'll take the flour taco and we make homemade refried beans, put the beans on the flour taco, and then the crispy corn taco shell with some seasoned meat in it, and then cheese, tomatoes, lettuce, onion, and hot sauce.
It's a good way to add beans to your taco, because I find when you try to add beans to your crunchy taco, it never works out as planned because it takes up too much real estate inside the crunchy taco.
Exactly.
Unless you got one of those really wide gauge stand up tacos, you can't put beans in your crunchy tacos, and it's hard because when you dollop the refried beans in there, you have to really kind of give it like a flick of the wrist. And in order for the beans to go down in there, and sometimes when you give it the flick of the wrist, the spoon will break off the side of the tortilla tortilla, and you've ruined the taco. Whereas if you add it to the flour tortilla, wrap it around it, then you're not breaking anything. In fact, you're helping everything get held together. I think it's one of the greatest fast food combinations and one of the best contributions to food society.
It's very tasty.
It comes from Taco Bell. That's why whenever Taco Bell tries something, I do take note.
I've thought about this before.
Thank you.
I have a question before you go because the most important problem that I have. Oh, he left. Son of a. Is the taco shells always stale when you buy them from the store? I've never bought a taco shell from the store that's not stale. It's turned me off to the whole hard taco shell industry.
It's tough.
Because I don't know I've tried different brands. I've gone to different stores.
Have you tried Old El Paso?
Yes.
Is that the one in the yellow box?
Blue box with the yellow writing, right?
Okay.
It's been a while. Maybe they've changed the
whatever
colors.
one's in the yellow box.
Yes, with the red writing.
With the red writing?
Yes, I've tried that.
They shrink wrap the tacos.
Oh,
but this is what you
stale.
do. You have to refresh them. You have to refresh the tacos. And what you do with taco shells is you put them in the oven at like 300 degrees for 3 to 4 minutes. And then that will bring the crispiness back to...
And it won't be stale?
It won't be stale. It'll make it taste good.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. Listen online at kzoz.com.
This HBO data breach got interesting in the last 24 hours. Apparently, one of the leaked documents that the hackers sent out to everybody was an exchange between the hacker and the executives at HBO saying that, hey, listen, we know you got our Game of Thrones scripts. We will offer you $250,000 in Bitcoin because that's all we were able to obtain. we will offer you $250,000 in Bitcoin as a bounty payment to the hacker, which is known as Mr. Smith.
Are you saying 250? Are they saying 250,000 Bitcoins or 250,000 US dollars that would equal whatever in Bitcoin?
$250,000
whatever Bitcoins are.
of Bitcoin.
Because we don't know.
I don't know what the exchange rate is on a Bitcoin. But the hackers initially were asking for $12 to $15 million. They're coming back with $250,000.
Yeah, that's not.
So maybe the reason why they're leaking this is like they're saying, ha ha ha, like we're really going to take that when we were initially asking for 12 to 15 million. My thing is, I don't know what a Bitcoin.
I've heard of them.
What Bitcoin does, what it is. I mean, if somebody was to hold me for ransom and then they said, go get me some Bitcoin, I'd be like, all right. How do I do that? And so we're asking people to explain Bitcoin to us. Shauna writes in. She says, invisible internet money.
Okay. Okay.
That tells me it's like Second Life. It's like made up.
Curtis says, it's been explained to me a few times, but I still don't understand. I have no idea what it is. Writing in on Twitter at Jeff and Jeremy, Facebook, Twitter there. So we've got a buddy who works with the forensics. He's a forensic scientist, a computer forensic scientist. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good.
This is Steve Burgess. He runs burgessforensics.com, and it'll if you have anything wrong with your computers, you want some information recovered from it, or anything that is really above your pay grade when it comes to fixing your computer, this guy can take care of.
Thanks.
Yeah, you betcha. Okay, so HBO has secured $250,000 worth of Bitcoin. When I hear this morning, I'm like, what does that even mean?
Bitcoin, it's called a cryptocurrency. I'm going to use a couple of alien words first.
Okay.
It's called a cryptocurrency, and it's based on blockchain technology. So basically, it's a kind of money. You might think of it as virtual money, but really most of the money you have in the bank is virtual money, right? It's just digits and not cash or coin. So Bitcoin is there's a limited number of Bitcoin allowed to be generated in the world, and it's generated through calculations. And every time a certain amount of Bitcoin is generated, that is to say brought into existence through these calculations, then the calculation gets harder. So it gets more and more expensive in terms of computer time to do the calculations that create Bitcoin. And the people who do these calculations, who've got now farms of servers to do it, are called Bitcoin farmers. And every transaction that you do with Bitcoin includes the entire history of that. Excuse me one second. Stop that, please stop.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a new game, Steve. What is going on in the background? I'm going to guess somebody's doing dishes.
You are correct. Somebody's doing dishes.
Okay, all right.
I'm at home and not doing computers right now, but I'm
anyways.
Facebooking, actually.
So, I mean, you're getting way into this, and I'm way lost, except for virtual money. So,
basically, it's money, and the entire that's generated through the act of figuring out math. And as there gets to be more and more, the math gets to be harder and harder, and every transaction includes a journal that has the entire history of the transaction of that Bitcoin. So it's auditable back to the beginning of its existence, but it's anonymous.
Why do we use this? What's this all about? Why?
Well, because the hackers, when they stole the information from HBO, they told HBO that they wanted $12 to $15 million, but the only way they can really do this transaction is through this Bitcoin, right? Am I correct in saying that, Steve?
Well, I haven't read the article about it, but based on what you're saying, yes.
Okay, they say that they've only been able to get $250,000 worth of Bitcoin because apparently it's not. I just thought if I want a Bitcoin, I just go talk to my Bitcoin dealer and say, hey, exchange my dollars for Bitcoin, and then it was like that was the current. But that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
You can do that. You just need to find a Bitcoin exchange that will exchange your dollars for Bitcoin.
Okay.
And is a Bitcoin the same as what is that? What's the equal value of one Bitcoin?
It changes all the time. So right now, I haven't checked it recently, but right now it's in the neighborhood of $1,000.
This sounds ridiculous and too complicated.
$1,000 for one Bitcoin?
It's a completely free market thing. The value of Bitcoin is whatever people are willing to pay for it. Unlike the dollar, which is called a fiat currency, and its value is to a certain extent set by, banks and government.
Right.
It's still
and
a
world
free-floating
trends.
currency, but not like Bitcoin.
But it's not made up. It's not made up money.
Well, all money is made up money.
Okay, so there is a
That's
value
true.
to it as long as the person on the other end wants some of it. So I understand how they set the value now. So
Right, and it's gone from next to nothing to like $1,000, and then it crashed to like 250, and now it's back up to like 860.
But I could have 100,000 Bitcoin and be rolling, right? Yes. I mean, but I can't go buy a new truck or a house with that.
Yeah, it depends. About 4 years ago, I think the first car dealership, which was in L.A., started taking Bitcoin. So it depends on who takes Bitcoin. I mean,
I doubt anybody around here does. I doubt I can go to Paso Ford or Malahi Dodge or you know what I mean, and see if I can work a deal.
Bitcoin's mostly an online currency.
Okay.
And there's no things that you can carry around in your pocket unless the thing is.
Can you give us an example outside of ransom for some jackass that stole HBO's scripts? Like who uses Bitcoin? Just that we would understand.
I wanted to buy something.
Yeah.
What could I buy with my Bitcoin?
There are many, many, many thousands of organizations, both brick and mortar and online.
Amazon?
That take Bitcoin.
Let's go Amazon.
I'll bet they do, but I don't know. I've got like one fraction of a Bitcoin in a Bitcoin wallet just to have done it.
I see. Okay.
So, and it's totally encrypted. So in theory, although not actually in practice, in theory it's secure. In theory it's anonymous. And it's because, with dollars, you can just, quote, print more dollars. With Bitcoin, you can't. There's an upper limit of the amount of Bitcoin that will ever be introduced into the world. And I think it's something like 2040 we should hit that. But then all the Bitcoin, you have fractions of a Bitcoin. The smallest fraction of a Bitcoin is called a Satoshi, named after the creator of it.
Okay. I think I've heard enough. I appreciate your knowledge. It's like, is it ever going to impact my life? I don't think so.
Maybe.
If you think of it as an online currency, and a lot of Bitcoin is used for illegal transactions, what would otherwise be illegal and traceable. So if you're going to go to some drug bazaar online,
right. I was thinking more assault rifle, but yeah, okay, drug bazaar.
Yeah. But at the same time, people buy other real world stuff with it, like cars and stuff.
Okay. Wow. All right, thank you, Steve.
But one more thing: Bitcoin isn't the only virtual currency. It's just the most well-known one.
God, thank God that I'm older and I don't look at as much porn as I used to, because I used to consume my 20s.
But then
then I would be all into Bitcoin like Kyle over here.
He said that Bitcoin is 2040. By the time 2040 comes around, Bitcoin will have reached its capacity, meaning that more and more people will start using Bitcoin over the next 20 years. You plan on being in this planet over the next 20 years, right?
Yeah. So maybe we'll have to deal with it. I mean, maybe.
This is like one of those things that I don't want to have to learn. Like, I know how my parents felt when I told them to get a Facebook account.
Why am I a jackass? You walked in here when I was asking Steve what Bitcoin is used for, and you said, the porn industry sure uses it.
All right.
Really, Kyle?
Yeah, I know. You can't. Cat got your tongue?
All right. So Bitcoin, like your friend Steve was saying, it's cryptocurrency. So you never physically see, touch, smell Bitcoin ever.
Right.
I don't like that.
Why?
It's hard for me to.
He likes the
You're
smell
still
of
a
money.
cash guy. See, I'm a credit card guy.
Hundreds
so
of dollars for one of
I'm
something that you say exists on.
Yeah, somebody just says this magical thing exists.
Well, and the thing
Guess
is,
what? You get $1 worth of this.
well, and the thing is,
$800.
it's all code. Nobody actually knows who the hell created Bitcoin. It's a code, and like Steve was saying, how each Bitcoin has a different code, has the entire transaction history on it. You can't actually crack the code of Bitcoin. So hackers that people are thinking like, oh, what if I just hack into a bank account and I steal all the Bitcoin? not going to happen.
That's my question. Where do we keep our Bitcoins?
So you keep it in a digital wallet, and your digital wallet is all on all of our phones in here. So it's all the third-party app systems, Amazon, Venmo, all of them use Bitcoin. And the way you obtain Bitcoin...
Not U.S. Bank?
No.
Okay, so it's totally different.
Completely different.
Wait. So I have a Venmo account.
Yeah, you can get Bitcoin.
You can get Bitcoin, bitch.
You can go right down the street.
Bitch.
This place right down the street from us has a Bitcoin ATM.
Where? What
Graduate?
place?
Yes.
The Graduate. You could get Bitcoin at the Graduate.
Yes.
And
they have a Bitcoin ATM.
You can pay for your bar tab with Bitcoin in your food.
Now we know what pay for the new bathrooms.
The businesses the businesses have to actually take the Bitcoin, and the whole reasoning as far as like the value of Bitcoin, like Steve was saying, I've seen it as cheap as $6 for Bitcoin, and I've seen it as high as a few $1,000s for Bitcoin.
So it's almost like a stock; it can go up and down.
It can go up or down, and pretty much the infamous purchase that put a value on Bitcoin was when it was essentially first created 5 or 6 years ago. Somebody ordered a pizza, and they said, "I'll give you 10,000 Bitcoin for the pizza." That deal right there is what put a value on Bitcoin. And since then, it's fluctuated anywhere from dirt nothing to insanely expensive.
It's around $1,000 for one Bitcoin.
Yeah, and
so
then,
you could have bought at 6. You could have bought 60, and then you'd have $60,000 if you sold it today.
Exactly.
Can you sell Bitcoin?
Hell yeah, you can. You can sell you can sell it to the ATM that you bought it at, or any other one that will let you sell.
In 2009, there was a guy in Norway who bought $27 worth of Bitcoin. Okay. He forgot that he even bought it because, that's
it's not real.
It's not real, so you don't even know that it exists.
Yeah.
And then come to find out 4 years later, in 2013, that Bitcoin, I guess it was valued really high then. It was worth $886,000.
Yeah. And that's how Bitcoin fluctuates.
That $27 investment turned out to be close to $1 million 4 years later.
So it's not only a currency, but it can be an investment.
A commodity.
It can. And as far as like how Steve was saying, there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin that's ever going to be produced. The other term for that is mined. So how he was saying how there's Bitcoin farmers, how we have server farms and everything like that to house all these big.
What the hell are you doing here producing crap?
Know.
You shouldn't be a producer. You should be. What the hell? We're all sitting here. I'm blown away. When you text me and said, "Oh yeah, I'll tell you all about it," I told Jeff, I go, "Hey, Kyle's coming in to tell us all about it," and I'm like, "No, dude,
you guys
seriously,
have seen Kyle's rig at home, right?"
I've seen. Yeah, no, yes and no. I've seen
how
the
to
photos,
do things, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know you do, but I'm like, what the hell are you wasting your time here for?
Oh,
I know radio's fun, but Jesus Christ, you're a smart kid.
It's fun to do.
93.3 KZOZ rocks Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Got the guys from the JD Project in studio, Doug, John, Dan, and Dave. Good to see you guys again. Some of you I've seen recently, others it's been a while. Doug, I haven't seen you forever. How you been, man? How's Jeopardy? How's your Jeopardy celebrity status treating you?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's hard to get any work done.
Yeah. Everywhere you go, people want autographs. I don't even know how you guys are going to be able to perform tomorrow night at the Lake Park in the Tascadero.
Yeah, how has it changed for the band when you guys go out? Is everybody like, hey, there's Jeopardy Doug?
Pretty much.
Yeah. When you introduce songs tomorrow night, it's got to be in the form of a question, of course.
Right.
So all of that.
What is the station?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's tough. People just I didn't recognize you without that deer in the headlights look on your face. Yeah, that's kind of how it went.
So, I know what you've been up to. And Dan, what's the name of the music store?
Grand Central Music?
Yeah, that's right.
Right down the street.
Right down the street. And they help us out with a lot of stuff. But, you specialize you work with a lot of bands, probably.
Right.
Keeps you pretty busy?
Sure, for sure, actually, yeah.
Yeah. And then you play in a couple of bands, right?
No, I'm mostly the JD Project, but I do play some with Donna Liu and Matthew Kim, who we were with last month or whatever.
Okay.
On the Liquid Lunch.
Yeah.
And then I've been playing with some other guys from like the Deadbolts.
Okay, I just follow you on Facebook. It seems like you're always playing with somebody. And what about the rest of you guys? What do you guys all do when you're not playing music?
Well, to actually earn a living?
Yeah.
I do concrete by day and music at night.
Oh. What's the secret to great concrete?
Pour it before it gets too hot.
Before it gets too hot?
Yeah.
Not hard. Oh,
no,
okay.
Hot out in summer in Paso Robles.
Yeah.
Tough work.
All right, very cool. And what about Saturday? What's going on? You guys going to be in the Tascadero?
Yeah.
We are, yeah. In fact, that's one of my favorite gigs. It's right in our neck of the woods in Atascadero. That park is fantastic. Just the opportunity to get some families out there, some picnic going on, some barbecue. They got food, they got beer, people bring wine. It's fantastic.
Jeff says you can bring your own cooler in. You guys know anything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not a gated thing at all.
That's what makes it the best event.
Or maybe it's supposed to be a secret.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mom's the word.
Actually, we bring one everywhere we go.
They can. Yeah, you guys are fine.
It's
probably.
really just a cooler full of soda, really. Just soda.
Blue soda. Blue can soda.
But if you're a spectator and you want to go see JD Project tomorrow night, even the people that put together the concerts in the park, they say it's encouraged. You can bring whatever you want to bring. You bring your food. You bring your
stuff.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Oh, no opioids.
And it's right next to the playground, and there's water in the lake.
Yeah,
and there's
it's cool.
You're under
it's cool
the shade
scene.
of the trees.
Yeah.
It's a family event.
Yeah.
I mean,
And now you guys got the last slot on the season, which is nice because that means the sun will go
clean
down
up.
quickest.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So that means it'll be cool. It's not going to be terribly hot.
Blazing?
No, we've been up there when it's been, oh my God, this is hot. And there's one spot in the big oak that's right out from the stage that like the sun is always going through that, like
right in your eyes,
like
right
the devil's spotlight. It's the worst. But hopefully this later in the year we won't have that.
Yeah.
So I know you guys do some of your own original music, but you also do covers and things like that. How do you decide like what you're going to play when you do a show like this?
It's actually kind of funny. It's
totally scientific.
Yeah. There's an algorithm.
Algorithms.
I mean, Jeff and I fight over everything, so I can't even imagine if there was 4 of us in the room.
I think
we had to pick a
whoever's the
set
loudest.
list.
Whoever's the loudest, we just shout out the loudest tune, and they're like, okay.
Usually Dan will start it on guitar, and then we go, okay, we have to play that.
Is there not a set list? Is it just kind of whatever somebody?
There's room to be one, I think.
Yeah, we have like a master set list, and sometimes we actually write a set list, but even then we don't really.
Is it like a thick book?
Pay attention to it.
Pages.
It really is. Actually, it's on my cell phone, so I'll look down and go, and I'll call out a song.
Right.
Radio song, and they'll go, okay, and then we'll hit 3. We'll hit 3, and then we'll go.
Yeah, we'll usually. Do 3 in a row
but typically we try to just play to the crowd, right? So depending on how people are feeling, if they're getting up and dancing, then we're going to stick with that. Yeah. So we try to just kind of. That's why sometimes having a set list, if it's regimented, you're not really playing to the crowd, and we've always just kind of just tried to play as much as we could to the crowd, just get these people moving, having fun.
You can see him tomorrow in the park. It's Saturday in the park. JD Project, what time do you guys start?
6:30.
Oh, okay.
6:30, yeah. 6:30 to 8:30.
After tacos.
And then what's after the gig? Now that you guys are older and have families, do you go home or?
No, late night pool party.
Yeah.
Late night pool party.
I think as R. Kelly said after the show, it's the after party.
Yeah.
Well, he said a lot of things.
Weekend,
and he didn't always use his voice to
talk.
Don't go around living life like R. Kelly does.
Well,
serious trouble.
That's a bad idea. Yeah.
So we're sitting here, we're rapping a little bit about some of the other bands that they know. Truth About Seafood, one of them that just happens to come up, and Brad Dana is always talking about his connection with Stone Temple Pilots. So do you guys know anybody like in any bands? You want to drop any names like Brad does?
We know Brad Dana and Truth About Seafood.
We live vicariously.
We know Matt Cross.
That is huge.
Yeah.
The both of those are huge.
Yeah. No, actually, we don't have any connections in the industry whatsoever. We pride ourselves on that.
Yeah, let the work speak for itself.
We know
people
people through Brad.
I always tell people, you guys are a solid band, though. I mean, every time that we've gone out and seen you guys, I mean, I've always been impressed, and I always tell people about you guys. I don't know if you do bar mitzvahs and birthdays, but if you get those calls, it's because I usually pass your name on.
One of these days.
And I'm like, find them on Facebook, the JD Project. But you guys have been playing together a long time, and
yes.
like Doug, I know you've lived here for a long time, right?
I've lived here since '90, and Dan and John have lived here since before that. So
yeah.
88.
Well, Dan and I grew up together.
Wow. So you grew up here?
No.
In
the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
And then they moved here in '88 for school.
Or 87, actually.
87.
Did you guys move here together?
We did.
Yeah. Do people think you're gay? Because people think Jeff and I are gay when I tell them that he's my partner.
That's why we have the wedding rings.
Yeah. They're like, wait, you moved here together? I'm like, it's a radio show, Yeah.
It's like one of those
college.
We can't go watch a movie together because people are like, oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Doug saw us at Costco one day. He's like, and we just happened to be shopping at the same time. It's like,
we weren't even together, by the way.
Same basket.
All my thoughts
And
were
you
confirmed.
just happened to be in the marital aid section.
Yes. Luckily, my daughter was with me, but still, he could assume that she's adopted. I don't know.
It's normal. It's perfectly normal.
Are you guys submitting anything to New Times this year? Congratulations on the station last year.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we'd love to.
We'd like to.
Yeah, we've
submit
been in the
this one.
studio. We're working with Brent over at Fast Tracks, and we brought something in to share with you today.
This song right here?
This one right here.
All right, we're going to play it right now then, because we're running out of time. We're going to get you guys in earlier next time. Apologize for that.
Or
what do you call this?
Figure out the CD player.
The Long Hard Road.
The Long Hard Road?
Yeah.
All right. Here's the JD Project. This is new. No one's heard it, right?
No one's heard it.
All right, check it out. It's a first for KZOZ.
Some call me crazy. Say I act just like a fool. And others say he's lazy. Can't even follow his own rules. But I've learned the hard way that you got to trust yourself. But if it's you and no one else, you're headed uphill. You're headed uphill. And it's a long, hard road, but we'll find our way. And you are so different. Nothing ever bothers you. Steal your nerve and follow through and get where you're going. While I lie in silence, I'm just worrying about the day. If I'll ever make my way without even knowing. And it's a long, hard road, but we'll find our own way. With a hand to hold, you'll never be lonely. And I've heard it said there'll be brighter days ahead. It's a long, hard road. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. So lay down beside me, I'll tell you a secret. And give me your heart, and I'll promise to keep it. Safe and so sound in the warmth of my own. Never to break it or leave you alone. Beside me, I'll tell you a secret. And give me your heart, and I'll promise to keep it. Safe and so sound in the warmth of my own. Never to break it and leave you alone.
It's the JD Project that you can hear those guys tomorrow. Concerts in the park over there.
Did we just show any cards? Are you guys going to close with that tomorrow night? I guess you got to show up and find out.
We have closed with that before, but we won't know until like right before we close. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the set list somewhere.
Yeah, it'll be there.
What are people's favorites that you guys play cover songs wise? What is
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah,
if people aren't dancing and we play that, it's like they came out of the freaking trees. It's crazy.
You know, Jeff and I used to be wedding DJs back in the day, like to make a little extra cash. Not here, but up in Washington and Idaho, and sometimes we'd go to Oregon because we lived in the eastern. Remember, we drive
all the states meet.
We drive 5 hours sometimes. Our radio signal would go that far into like nowhere, Oregon and Idaho to do a wedding. But anyways, and we just came out with a list, somebody did, of the 48 songs that brides don't want to hear at weddings. And it was every song we ever played. But it was like Dancing Queen and YMCA and
Macarena and Chicken Dance.
We never played the Macarena, but
I played Macarena all the time.
Yeah. I left the wedding
Especially if that bride was pissing me off.
I couldn't stand bitchy brides, and he took over. I found going to a bar and doing 80s night was a little bit easier. So let's talk about music, albums. How do people find you, like, if they want to hear more of your stuff?
We're out there on Spotify.
Okay.
iTunes.
You can download?
Amazon Music. You can buy our CD on Amazon.
Okay. The physical CD, yeah.
You can buy it directly from our website at thejdproject.net.
Okay.
You got to have the...
Okay, and .net.
We're not from Canada.
Yeah, there's a band called the JD Project that's in Canada, apparently. But so they took the .com.
They sound anything like you guys.
Close.
No.
They
just
do?
say they sound exactly like us, but then they say A at the end.
The JD Project, eh?
Yeah.
It's like being on Jeopardy. Everything's in the form of a question.
Right.
It's actually pretty funny. We'll guide people over there, and folks will go, "Whoa, I didn't know you guys did smooth jazz." We're good.
We're hoping. We're
so
working
are you writing songs right now? Are you producing songs that you've already written? Where's the process at for the new album?
Well, we're producing songs that we've already written, but it's possible for a song to appear while you're in the studio at the same time. So we're always writing as well as producing.
And this song here, you're going to submit to the New Times Music Awards again this year? Have you decided yet?
I'd like to. I don't think we did.
All right. You know, they're taking submissions right now.
Oh, they are? I didn't see that.
Well, we better get on it.
Yeah, they're doing
They're
it
in the
right
process.
Now. They're in
probably.
That's the Canadian for process.
Yeah, I know.
I got it. That's beauty.
For the people that are going to stumble across this podcast thinking they're going to hear their favorite smooth jazz artists in Alberta or something.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Since grade 6, eh?
Good luck tomorrow in the task. You don't need good luck, but I mean, have fun. And you know what? Please let us know when you get a new song, even if it's just one. I like having you guys in. We'll play it and talk.
Well, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Beauty.
JD Project again tomorrow at a Atascadero in the park. The JDProject.net.
93.3 KCOZ. It's time to play Know the Show with Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
All right, what are we doing here? Oh, Doobie Brothers. They'll be at Vina Robles a week from Tuesday on the 22nd. If you know the show today, you're going to win tickets to see the Doobie Brothers right now. Don't forget, you can buy your tickets. Go to KZOZ.com. Click on the link to get linked up with Vina Robles to get your seats. Numbers to get in, 543-3693.
Okay, according to Kyle, he stopped by here a little bit ago, and he told us where you can buy Bitcoin in San Luis Obispo. I didn't even know this is the thing, but you can buy Bitcoin, and he singled out one place. There's a place where you can buy Bitcoin in San Luis Obispo, and upon further investigating, I found 3 other places that you can buy Bitcoin in San Luis Obispo. I still don't even know what it is, but you can buy it somewhere.
All right, let's go through the phones and see if we can get somebody that knows. This is for tickets to the Doobie Brothers, 543-3693. Hi, good morning. Where was it?
Gosh, I was listening to it. I don't remember a bank.
It was a bank? No, it was not a bank.
No, you couldn't be any further from that.
It was not the bank.
Which is really weird that
you're welcome.
That you could buy it at this place. When he's like, you could buy it down the street. I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Let's see here. Hi, good morning. Do you remember where it was?
Yes, it's Crystal. It was at a pizza parlor.
No, it's not at a pizza parlor. Sorry, Crystal. 543-3693.
Really.
That opens it up. Do they do pizza there?
I think they do. But they are also doing other stuff there.
All right. Hi, good morning. Where was it?
The Graduate.
It was The Graduate. Congratulations. You're going to see the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, can I get a hot dog? Give me a Vodka tonic, and I'll take some Bitcoin.
Don't forget, the JD Project will be at the Atascadero Park tomorrow. 6:30 is when things gets rolling. Go check them out. We'll see you back here
Monday.
Is today Friday?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Okay, nice.